Hello, and welcome to the 2021 Veterans Florida Virtual Expo presented by Bank of America. This is the entrepreneurship panel about building your professional network to grow your business. I'm Amy Entris. I am the Entrepreneurship Development Manager at Veterans Florida, and I am a Navy veteran. My background is in program management in a few different industries, including government contracting, agriculture, and I've also had some personal experience as an entrepreneur. So now we'll get started with our panelists. Aaron, if you'd please start.
Sure. Welcome, everyone. I'm Aaron Caldwell. I'm an Air Force veteran. I've also been an entrepreneur now for 5 years. My wife and I have a business now called Favent, of which I am the COO. And I'm also involved in the local community here in Tampa. I am the entrepreneurship ambassador for Bunker Labs, which is a national 501c3 that helps military connected family members and veterans and military members with entrepreneurship and other things. Great.
Thank you. Ricardo, would you please go next?
Yes, hello everyone, welcome. My name is Ricardo Garcia. I'm an Air Force veteran. I'm an entrepreneur at heart as well. I've been working in the startup world and economic development world for many years. Currently, I'm the program manager at Guidewell Innovation, where I manage health tech accelerator programs and innovation challenges aimed at helping people and communities achieve better health. I also co-founded the Veterans Entrepreneurship Initiative, where our mission is to empower and support veteran entrepreneurs through business guidance, education, and mentorship. I'm passionate about working with entrepreneurs and more specifically veteran entrepreneurs. So happy to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. Trish?
Hi, my name is Trish Murphy and I am the CEO of Marketing Smarty Pants. I'm an Air Force veteran and I've been involved in the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses for going on 5-6 years now. I've also been in business for upwards of 6 years. And in my business, we help small businesses have great marketing and we focus on social media, branding, websites, and consulting.
Wonderful. Thank you. Doc?
Hey, so Eric Wright, Go4 Navy vet, serial founder, business philosopher, #1 best-selling Amazon author, with a special place in my heart for veteran-owned businesses, especially small ones doing less than 5 million revenue a year, less than 10 employees. So just excited to be here on the panel with this caliber of veteran-owned entrepreneurs, man. Too cool. So thanks for having us.
Sure. Great. Thank you. So, oftentimes we as entrepreneurs and business owners and veterinarians, or veteraneurs, all those terms, we get often this question about, that we are always invited to so many activities and events. And, meanwhile, we're busy trying to do our own job and gain our businesses up and running or growing them. So how do you pick and choose the networking events or activities that you commit to? How do you select those to get basically the most bang for your buck?
I'll jump in. So whether I do this digitally, i.e. through a platform like LinkedIn or my nonprofit platform to connect veteran project managers with civilian project managers to kind of help them grow their careers, is, when I'm looking at connections, I know who I am and what I do and what value the person receiving my goods and services gets out of that. I then determine for those people that I connect with and can help, how do they help me, right? The trick is you got to help them first, right? Nobody cares if you get a good deal as long as they get a good deal first, right? So I determine if there's any value in a relationship with that other persona or avatar or whatever buzzword you want to use today. And then I connect with, talk to, go to events where those people live. Because here's the reality. We all are very busy people. When you say entrepreneur, what I heard is, oh yeah, 16 hours a day, 8 days a week, right? Like that's it. So when you spend your time networking, whether it's digitally, virtually, or in person, the reality is I can't help everybody. I got to know who I help, how that generates good services, sales, and revenue, so that I can continue to help more and more and more people. I don't want to be in a relationship, and frankly, I don't want them in a relationship with me if I can't help them. There's no value in having the relationship. So That's kind of how I decide. So I don't go to 50 conferences a year. I go to the 5 or 8 where my peeps are. That's how I decide.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I think it's one of the first things you got to do is develop a strategy for networking before you start going and attending all these events. You want to have a plan, right? You want to make sure that the events that you attend align to your company's mission, and that will add value, right? I think it's important. It's critically important when you're building relationships to deliver value to others, but it's equally important to identify things that are either going to add value to your business, perhaps to your bottom line, but also, are you going to go and learn something new at these events? Is it going to motivate you or inspire you in a big way? So these are questions you want to ask in order to help you prioritize the events that are most valuable prior to going. So
My experience has been, so my wife and I, we transitioned here to Tampa in 2019. So as entrepreneurs, military members, not knowing anyone, she drugged me to every networking event on the planet. I mean, everyone. And so you don't know where the value is because you don't know anyone, right? So you're trying to figure out. And I recall in my earlier days when I was doing some coaching that I saw a billboard once that said it talked about children and education and talked about the fact that they're likely to be 66% more favorable to pass if they were just present, meaning if they just showed up to school, no matter what their aptitude was, that they were likely to do better. And I think there's some element of that to those of us who are transitioning and moving in and out of, environments that we need to be in the room first to be seen before we can really even get to the ask or the need or the want. So some of it, while it is a lot of strategy involved, some of it is that you have to kind of kiss a lot of frogs before you get a prince type of deal.
Great. So glad you said that, Aaron, because I did the very same thing in my business, and very much what Ricardo said and Doc said. It's about going where your peeps are, right? So I'll apply those concepts and explain to you how I do that in my business. Over the years, I've discovered there's 3 criteria that I look at. Number one, because I'm super lazy, if there's an event in my backyard, like right down the road, I'll put that on my list, right? Because I want to do business people that are half a mile down the road so that when I go see my clients, it's not a long trip. Another demographic I take a look at is women-owned business. I connect with them. We do really well, and I'm passionate about women growing their own businesses and having some autonomy. And third, veterans. So I've been involved with veteran-owned businesses for a very long time. They're near and dear to my heart, and I love working with them. So that's another demographic that I take a look at. So if it meets any one of those 3, then it's game for me. If it meets all 3, then I'm super happy.
Yes, that's definitely good advice. And, we've kind of over the past year plus, we've had to make a transition from the traditional in-person networking events. And so what are some good digital networking resources out there right now that have come about over the past year, or just things that you have seen have been very valuable for your own businesses?
Amy, if you will. So I'm a big proponent of using what you have available to you. And kind of to Trisha's point, while I wouldn't necessarily call myself lazy, I probably am, but I like to utilize the resources that I already have. So for instance, I'm a certified life coach. I'm a licensed counselor. I'm a veteran. I'm already on LinkedIn. So I network within the communities that already exist to me. I don't go outside of that because I know if I make the effort to just go outside of it for networking purposes, I'm probably not going to be as interested or as valuable to myself or to other people who are actually looking for things that they have a need for. So my first thought is that to think about where you live, where you work, where you play, and make sure that you're actively engaged in those places first, because there's value there that we probably overlook.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So given the opportunity to attend, now we're starting to see in-person events again. Do you feel that you could use a hybrid model, in terms of picking and choosing in-person events, or should you stick with the virtual events for now? How should you manage all of those opportunities?
Amy, can I share one quick resource that'll kind of
Sure.
tie the last question and this question together? So I'm old school, old university professor, right? So I'm going to go non-digital. Trish will kick me in the shin for it. But this book right here, anybody networking anything, networking is what? Who am I? What do I do? What value do you get? And why would you have a relationship with me? Hire me, consult with me, promote me, whatever. This book by a guy named Donald Miller is called Building a Story Brand. And I thought I knew a thing or two after 6 years in the business and marketing my business and turning it into a multi-million-dollar company. I will tell you, I've read this book 4 times in the last year and a half alone. This book will help you tell your story as a professional, your story as a veteran. I used an example of my story written right off of his code. He gives you a template in here on how to tell clear, concise, competent, cogent stories in a very confident manner, not arrogant, but competent, confident, so that your customers, the people you're meeting, the people networking with you don't have to decide, they don't have to do mental workout to decide whether they want to connect with you or not. I meet Aaron, he's got a clear, concise story. Wow, that guy's somebody I want in my network. I meet Ricardo, I meet Trish. Wow, that's somebody I want in my network. It's like 3 or less on a mental treadmill. This book, if you're a business owner, this book will change your life and your business. So I just want to throw in an old school resource, and then that ties into what event, regardless of the event, in person, digital, virtual, whatever, you have to be able to talk about you, your business. I go to business conferences all over the country, well, pre-COVID, and I do business coaching, and I say, hey, so tell me what you do. An answer I get a lot is, well, it's kind of complicated. Or, if that's your opening lead with a simple question, what does your business do? You're probably running a hobby, not a company. I'm just saying. And then I ask you about 4 more questions, and I can determine within inside of 97 seconds whether you could use a business coach or not. Why? Because I've helped hundreds of businesses. And that first question is very important. Hey, Aaron, what do you do? Hey, Amy, what do you do at Veterans Florida? Hey, Trish, what do you do at Marketing Smarty Pants? You better drop a nice, clear, cogent answer, or that conversation's over, regardless of how much more time elapses.
Yeah, I think to add to that, and I know we're going to talk about it in a little while, but the importance of your value proposition, that's critical, right? You have to be able to deliver your what we call the elevator pitch in 30 seconds or less, and people have to understand clearly what it is that what the value that you're offering to them is, right? And so it takes some time. You can write a long story. That's easy to do, but bringing it down to a concise and well-articulated value proposition, that's the hard part. You got to also make sure that you incorporate your why, right? Always tie things to your why you're doing what you do. People connect with whys, and that's your mission, that's your vision, all that stuff. It's really important to add to that. So
I'll follow
Yeah,
up
go
on
ahead.
that because that's an excellent resource. I'm a big fan of the Story Brand. I've actually helped several clients go through that. I've gone through it myself. And what I love about the Story Brand is you can apply it to, your pitch, your 30-second elevator. You can apply it to your entire marketing strategy as a whole. You can apply it to something as simple as just a blog post or a social media post. So it's a template that works for everything, and I'm a huge fan of it. So definitely take a look at it. I'm glad you brought that up, Doc.
As it relates to networking specifically, Ricardo and Doc mentioned it about not being able to kind of spit it out what it is that you do. You will experience some of that at networking events, either from the person you're talking to or yourself, because there are periods where you are truly trying to flesh out what it is that I do. And so you have to be comfortable going into those places, into those environments, knowing that I'm looking for constructive criticism or feedback because I haven't really figured out how to best say what it is that I do. So that's okay. Not that that's not okay. Just understand when you're in that growth phase that this is the purpose for me going to these networking events.
Yeah, practice, right, Aaron? I mean, the ones you knock out of the park, maybe you land a deal. The ones that are complete train wrecks, you don't do business with that person, and maybe that's not a bad thing, right?
I think it's a good learning lesson too, right? The ones that don't work out, you can do a lot of takeaways from that. Figure out, okay, why is it that it didn't go wrong? What did I do? What could I have done differently, right? So even the no's are good learning lessons that you can take away from those interactions. And then just real quick to add to that digital networking resource, if you're a veteran and you don't know about LinkedIn for Veterans, then you should definitely know about LinkedIn for Veterans. It's you can get a premium subscription for free for 1 year. It's supposed to be for 1 year, but I think you can renew it every year without any issues. So it's a great way to leverage that. LinkedIn is a great resource, as many of you know. I think there's a lot of great digital platforms out there. Facebook groups is also a great resource. And so yeah, I think.
Yeah. So this is a good segue into the next topic that I want to discuss, which is, and you've already kind of touched on it with some things that you need to keep in mind when you attend a networking event. But I guess the big question is, how do you get the most out of a networking event, whether it's virtual, in person? What do you need to think about? What do you need to bring to the table when you go?
So I can take a first stab at it. So we mentioned the strategy and building your plan. So when going into your plan, you want to have your pre and post plan, right? So things that you do pre are things like knowing who you want to target at the event, who is going to be there. Perhaps you can maybe even set up meetings ahead of the event with some of the key people that you want to connect with. Practicing your approach, right? Tying it back to your elevator pitch. Depending on who you're connecting with, whether it's a customer segment, a potential partner, strategic partner, or something else, your elevator pitch is going to change accordingly. So you want to make sure you establish that and you practice that approach. We talked about having a clear message, having a solid value proposition. And then on your post plan, the most important thing that people fail to do is follow up. So have a plan ahead of the event of how you plan on following up with your contacts, and always offer value. I think Doc mentioned this. The importance of offering value is one of the critical things to building relationships, right? You always want to give more than you take. So when you do need to take, you have some almost like value equity there that you can tap into. Things like sharing a relevant news article that may add value to their efforts, or facilitating an introduction. That's critical too. If you can connect them with somebody that can help them, that helps you two ways, right? And then always follow through with what you say you're going to do, right? Oftentimes during networking events, you may overcommit. So make sure you know ahead of time. Make sure that what you say you're going to do, make sure you follow through and do it. And then just lastly, I think it's important to have a plan for your CRM, or have a CRM in place, a customer relations management platform, where you plug in all these contacts that you're meeting and the type of relationships you have with them. And then it's good to always have regular touch points with them, so in order to build the relationship, but also maintain the relationship, it's good to have touch points here and there throughout the year with the contacts that you're connecting with. So.
And if I might, just to piggyback on, and I love that, Ricardo, I got to steal that from you, brother. I will give attribution though, value equity, right? So again, remember, if you've done your homework and you know who your customer or your customers are, or friends in the space that can help your business and you can help their business, you got to tune everybody into their favorite radio station with FM. What's in this for me, right? So what you want to do is, and you'll see two camps on LinkedIn. Take a business card, don't take a business card. I take business cards because I like to practice what I call solution selling. If my answer is, here's who I am, here's what I do, here's who I do it for, and here's the value they get, those are the very same questions. So to your question, Amy, those are the very same questions I ask the people I meet. And I ask them first, before I tell them about me, I direct a conversation so I find out who they are. Hey, Aaron, so tell me a little bit about you, bud. Cool. Tell me about your business. Who do you do that for? Cool. Are you generating revenue doing that? Do you have any challenges? And that last question is key. Do you have any challenges? I already know he's one of my peeps, or I wouldn't be there because I've done my homework on my customer. Or people I want in my network, like Ricardo. Can he help me help my business, help his business, help, Trish and I have collaborated on several things, right? Trying to help her business because I don't do marketing. And then on the back of my business card, if Aaron shares with me a struggle he's having and it's something I can help with, on the back of the card, I write down a key word or a key item that he'll get. So, hey, Aaron, make sure you keep this card, brother. It gives you a discount on staffing, or it gives you, hey, I'd love to do some project auditing for you, or, hey, maybe I can help you be more profitable. I write down that keyword on the back that matters to him. And the chances are this business card, I don't find it in the trash 30 minutes later on my way out the door. You know what I mean? So I take business cards, regardless of what folks will tell you on LinkedIn. I'm old school. I take business cards. I write what's in it for them on the back and 1 or 2 keywords. I get lots of calls from networking events because I know I can help them. I listen to their problems. Here's the solution. If it's a real solution, they're not throwing that card away. So that's a trick I use in an in-person event.
Mhm. That's interesting that, oh, go ahead, Erin.
I just had one thing
Trish?
one strategy I have to get the best out of networking events is actually not looking for clients. I know that sounds a little off the wall. I'm actually looking for referral partners. So I want to get to know businesses who are going to feed me clients. And then I also want to look for other marketing agencies that I could potentially team up with. So maybe it's advertising agencies that don't offer social media marketing and I don't offer print. So maybe we could be referral partners and do some business together. So those are the relationships that I look for first. I look for others as well, but that's my focus when I go in and I look when I'm networking.
I think that's all great information. I like to take a personal approach to it simply because it's my own experience. For those who happen to be introverts that are forced to go out and do networking, it is like terrifying. I'm one of them, so I know. And I hear a lot of the people that I help when I facilitate veterans and residents courses and other things saying, I go to these events and no one comes up to me. And I'm like, if that's not how networking works, you're a guppy in a shark tank. So if you're an introvert, you have to do a lot of prep and homework before you leave the house. Like you have to be mentally prepared and know that I have to talk to at least 10 people today. Even if you don't say anything of value to them, it's an exercise to get you to that point that when you do run into someone that has value for you or you for them, that you can then have a conversation. So you can't just go and be in the room to some degree, even though I said that earlier, there's value in it. You have to be able to state your claim and be confident in doing so. Otherwise, someone that may have something to offer you will just dismiss it because you don't seem interested in your product or service or whatever the case may be. So gaining confidence and being able to say and state your claim and who you are and what you do is very important prior to being in the room full of people who are there to either give you something or get something from you.
Mhm. Yes, so I guess number one is that you just decide that you're going to show up. And then number two, like you all have shared, you have to be prepared. And that can come in many different forms. It's kind of up to you what's comfortable for you. But you definitely have to force yourself to have the conversations, listen, and also it helps to take notes so that you can do your follow-ups, as Ricardo was saying. And one of the things that I know I experience after a networking event is I almost feel like sometimes I get too much follow-up. So how do you politely address those types of follow-ups when maybe you just don't feel like there's any kind of potential for collaboration or there just isn't a fit, you're struggling to find one? So how do you manage those types of communications?
I think that's a tough question, right? I think one way to manage is at least having a list of people or connections that may be a better fit for them, right? I think there's a lot of great resources in the community that you can leverage, and if you're not the best person to help that person's needs, perhaps you know somebody or you know of a resource that may be a better fit. So almost like a referral to either connecting them with somebody else or connecting them to another resource that may be a better fit to help them. So
I think that's a great point because I've been to networking events where it was valuable information and a valuable connection and resource. However, it was as if someone was trying to serve me dessert before I had the main course, meaning I wasn't ready for that yet. Not that I won't be, but the timing just isn't right. So being able to convey that to them so that it's not like you're dismissing them totally so that they don't answer your call when you do call, but letting them know where you truly are and that you're simply just not ready for what they have to offer yet.
You know, and what Aaron just described is what us project managers call courageous candor, right? So, hey, the assumption is we're all adults. We've all been in the arena, right? Either as veterans or business owners or whatever. I mean, you get some thick skin, you get some battle scars, right? You get toughened up a bit. So, you know, we're adults, we're professionals. We ought to be able to have a candid conversation in a respectful, courteous manner where if I don't think I can help you, I tell you that, but I tell you why. So you don't just feel like I'm a jerk, right? So like, or Aaron said, or hey, you know, in sales, no is better than maybe. I don't want maybe for 3 months. Just tell me no up front. If I can't help you, you know, then I'll move on. So to Aaron's point, you know, hey, I'm not ready for this now, or hey, I'm not to scale yet, or whatever. I mean, the adult on the other side of that information, right? Mature, emotionally intelligent adult, like, you know, it's not personal. And I hate to be cliche and say it's business, but business is built on personal relationships, and relationships are built on what? Trust and integrity, as Ricardo said. So if I can't even trust you to tell me yes or no, why spend a lot more time developing or deepening a relationship that it has no trust or integrity in it? That's not a business relationship. That's not a good relationship in general.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. With that being said, we'll shift back to getting to know those peeps, as you call them, Doc, at your networking events. So, who exactly are those peeps at the networking events? Who do you decide to spend your precious time getting to know, where you think it will lead to, you know, a possible collaboration in the future?
I'll lead with my own value proposition statement, as Ricardo said. So I'm a military veteran, I'm a serial founder, and I'm a business philosopher, author, and linguist who helps other military veterans achieve meaningful, lucrative post-service careers, either working for themselves as entrepreneurs or for others in their other companies as employees. I wrote that value proposition statement, and it's very generic, but if you're a veteran who wants a meaningful, lucrative post-service career, or you're a business owner, veteran or not, who wants a meaningful, lucrative career in a successful business, if you're somebody who wants to help veterans win meaningful, lucrative, so all of the personas I serve, either in a networking capacity or in a business capacity, can hear themselves and see themselves in that statement. It's a statement about me, but I didn't write it for me. I wrote it to attract people that I can help or that can help me, right? So those are the people at the events where those peeps are. Those are the events I'm looking for. Those are the events I go to. And then it makes conversations, you know, to Aaron's point about being an introvert, it makes conversations much easier if you know you have a couple things in common with them. You could say, oh, you were an Air Force vet. Cool. What is your AFSC? There's instant connection there. Vet, whether I'm Navy and he's Air Force or not. We're all still vets, right? So let's say you're at an event that's not a veteran. Well, what do? Oh, I do this. Oh my gosh, you know, my cousin's in that space. What a cool space to be in. What got you into that space? Again, I'm going to let them talk about themselves to me first. And then if they ask about me or my business or whatever, we can talk about it, right? But make it about the other person first would be one of the most critical tricks I could give you at a networking event, because it makes the conversation that follows much easier. They do most of the talking, which if you're Aaron and you're an introvert, lets you off a big hook, right? But you're still adding value because you're listening to them.
Yeah, I like that. And I think just to add to that, I think what you're trying to do is learn about them and identify the synergies that you have in common with that individual. And then you can build on that conversation from there. Obviously, I think when you're first going into this, you're targeting, you have your plan and you know who you want to target or talk to first and the reasons why you want to connect with them first, right? And you want to make sure you follow through with that. But also don't, you know, after you've connected with everybody on your list, don't say, okay, I'm done here. No, I mean, I think there's opportunities for you to connect with as many people as possible. I don't think it hurts at all. I think not everybody's going to be a fit or aligned to what your synergies or what your focus areas are, but it's highly likely that they know somebody who is aligned to you, right? So if you make an impact in that connection, and if you discover a way to provide value, then there's a likelihood that they may connect you with the person who is a fit. So,
Right. Good point. So networking really is lots of listening, right? Effective networking is lots of listening. It's asking questions, getting to know them, and then asking follow-up questions, really truly being present in the moment and interested in the person that you're talking to or that you're connecting with. And that is the game changer. And my focus is, not necessarily can I do business with them, but do I know somebody in my network who would be a good fit for them, or someone that I know who needs that client? And in that, I get to make two people happy. And then they both think I'm great and they go tell their other friends how great I am. And that works for me. It's just, I don't know if other people are comfortable with it, but that's how I handle it. And it gets me business.
Yeah, and for myself personally, from personal experience, for the first year of us networking here in Tampa, we didn't have much to give. So we were really trying to get, stuff. We needed resources, know people, where to go, where not to go. And so what I learned was that, to Eric's point, or Ricardo and Trish, is that I found it to be kind of like Googling something. And if you didn't have like the right SEO, you didn't get to the right person, basically. So we were saying what it was that our business did, but it wasn't connecting us to the people that we need to be connected to until we started using certain words. And we had to learn that in order to meet the people we want to meet, or be in the right room, so to speak, we need to consistently and constantly say these key words. So knowing how to say what you do or what you provide is very important, to Eric's point and Ricardo and Trish's point. But it's very helpful in the networking space because it does push you either in the right direction or the wrong direction, and delays where you're trying to get to.
Mhm. Yes, because my next question was going to be, how does that conversation look when you're at a networking event? What are some of the things that you say? What are some of the things that you do? What is your body language? Like, if you can walk us all through some of, like, maybe a testimony on how, maybe give us an example of a very productive conversation maybe that you had at a networking event that you attended. Well, actually, I'll start. So many of you know about SOFIC, which is a very large industry conference that's hosted in Tampa, Florida. And I was attending, and I decided to take a break and go down and get a coffee. And I walked downstairs on the first floor of the conference center, and I saw a former colleague from the military services, and just said hello because he happened to be getting coffee as well. And we were briefly catching up. He asked me what I was up to at that point, because he knew I was out of the military services at that point. And I mentioned that I was working as a project manager. And within the next maybe 1 minute, I had lined up my next job as a project manager, and my company was contracted for services on a proposal that they had going at his organization. So literally within 1 minute, just by chance, by walking down and getting coffee, I had secured my next year of work. So that's one of the things that it goes to show you have to show up, number one. Number two, you have to say your value proposition. And number three, you have to figure out what you can do next in order to work with the person or company that you're speaking with. So that's my personal tale. So do any of you have any fun stories you'd like to share that would kind of provide as an inspiration to our audience?
I have one that kind of illustrates the being inquisitive part. I was at a networking event a couple months ago, and really connected with somebody that I've known for a while, but hadn't seen them in a couple of months. And they're a CEO of a well-known nonprofit in the area. And I'm like, hey, tell me about what's going on. And he's like, oh, we've laid some people off. So no, those of us who are left, we've got all this work to do. And I was like, well, tell me about that. So he was telling me about, all this stuff that they have to do now, and they're working 60, 70 hours a week. And I was like, well, how are you guys handling the marketing? He's like, we're overwhelmed. And then he was telling a story about how their IT person, the services that they have for their IT person are done in kind. So their IT person, they do X number of dollars worth of work every month, and that business gets credit for as a donation. And I was like, well, hey, let's have a conversation about that, because my business is in a position now where I think we could do some in-kind services, and let's just think about it. Just think about it and let's have a conversation. And it's led to them not only being a monthly paid client now, in which we're doing more than what they pay for, but it's a brand that I've always been wanted to work with. But just out of a conversation for me, just being genuinely curious and asking questions, I found that out. Had I been focused on telling him everything that was going on in my business or my life, I never would have uncovered that piece of information from him.
Mhm. Yeah, you just never know who you're talking to sometimes, and what's gonna cause, spark something to work out in the future by just saying certain things about yourself or about your projects or even about your passions, what kind of community work you're doing, what interests you. So great. I'd like to give now any of you the opportunity to share anything else to our audience. It's kind of open right now. So any final words of wisdom or anything you'd like to share?
I have one thing, and it's in the context of this session. So business cards are great. I told you I take them. I put the word of value on them. However, I have closed deals by saying, hey, Aaron, what address would you like me to send you an autographed copy of my last Amazon #1 bestseller? Or, hey, Trish, let me give you an Amazon number. You reach in your bag and you hand it, and am I making it out to you, Trish? Or do you have a kid? Or, so we're coming out with the second edition of 101 Lessons Learned. The first edition was 39 different authors and veteran business owners. There's veteran business nuggets in here. And they shared 101 lessons learned. It was such a hit that we're coming out with a second edition. So that was unplanned. It's going to be released in the summer, and we're going to add military spouses and military children. Now, the neat part, what's in this for us, Doc, right? Because I told you I always do that. Every author gets an About Me section in the back. Trish is in a couple of my books. You get an About Me section in the back, and you get to say, I'm a #1 Amazon best-selling contributing author. And you autograph this and hand it to them. You know what I mean? I've never found one of these in the trash. Now, the reality is statistically, they probably don't go read it, but they do a selfie with the author or whatever. So, contributing author, that's a person to look for at a networking event. Who's in like businesses or businesses that are congruent or complementary to yours? Collaborate on writing your industry knowledge down, putting it in a book, self-publishing it on Amazon. Now, this is what I call a nuclear business card. Okay, so if you're interested in contributing to the second edition and creating your own nuclear business card, I'll do the marketing for you. Just hit me at eric@vetstopm.com.
Okay, I'm in.
I'm in too. Sign me up.
Okay.
I think
And all of our audience is probably going to sign up too. So I think it's going to probably be like a phone book,
But it's good for business. It's good for everybody's business. And I got to tell you, what was really an unintended consequence of that last book is not the 101 lessons learned. They were wonderful, very poignant, right? The pain is in there, the pleasure is in there, the successful business, the crash business. But the entire second half of the book, the about the author, the about each author, I mean, I've got goosebumps. It's so personal. And you learn all about these vets, sister Air Force vets, brother Navy vets, like people you never served with, but you get some insight into what they're doing now and how they went from that AFSC or that MOS to this business. I mean, it's a whole nother book inside of itself. And that was such a neat unintended consequence to see. So.
Mm-hmm. Aaron, we're going to share something?
Yeah, I think part to Eric's point, if you can find a way in a room of 100 people to make the person you feel like the person you're talking to feel like they're the only person in the room during that interaction, then you win. Because no matter what service or product you're selling or pitching or whatever the case may be, we are all buying each other first and foremost. I'm buying Eric before I even check the book out, right? Because I like me and Eric connect for whatever reason, right? Same with Trish and Ricardo. So you have to develop those skills. And again, that's stuff you do before you leave the house. Like you can practice at some events, but you don't want to make that a habit. But you know, you need to be able to connect with the person as such that they feel like they're the only person that you're interested in talking to. Like you're the only reason they came. So if you can do that and develop that skill and be genuine and authentic while doing so, then you will make the right connections and you will not have a problem. People will want to make a connection with you.
Mhm. Well, I can't tell you how fortunate I feel to have connected with all of you, and so much appreciation for all the information you have shared today. So thank you to all of you. I really appreciate it. I think our audience is going to really benefit from what was discussed today. So we'll go ahead and end it here. So thank you again, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.